It's Leo season. So today I'm going to do some cards to talk about Leo season. Happy birthdays to everyone who's a Leo coming up soon. Leo in the tarot readings is largely based on the Strength card. The Strength card is about having confidence within yourself, that kind of security, knowing your worth, knowing your value, getting rid of any sort of negative self-talk with yourself, having that type of confidence that, owning your own, taking leadership, having confidence within yourself to do what you needed to do is kind of the focus that I'm going to do for this season. So that is why I have the Oracle Delphi deck. The Oracle Delphi served Apollo way back when. Apollo was one of the Grecian deities that represented the sun. And Leo is strongly associated with the sun luminary in the astrological charts. So I have a little bit of the Apollo here. And I'm also going to use the Sacred Rose deck. This deck wanted to come out to help with tarot readings for all the astrological signs. And I'm just going to ask for the message of the day to see what we need to hear before we head into Leo season. Sometimes it can be very hard to find that confidence that we need within ourselves. We have been taught at a young age to be more humble, to, not to have big egos, to not be selfish, which is okay in moderation. But we also need to be our own cheerleaders, lift ourselves up, and try to tackle the big things in our life with having that type of quiet positivity. That self-assurance that everything's going to be okay, we can do the things that we wanted to do. Leo is also strongly associated with the 5th house in the astrological charts. That is dealing with creation of all types, which is why we have the arts, children, pets, domestic pets, as part of that life sector. So we may see a call to healing our own inner child as well. And also try to have a little bit more joy and laughter in our lives. Okay, so I'm just going to do 3 cards here. So we have Spirit. We have the Teacher. And we have the Strategist. If you want to choose your own card type of reading, you're more than welcome to do so. You can pause this video and you can see which card is calling to you the most based on your gut instincts. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and continue on, and I will go ahead and read off each message from the cards here, and you just feel which one is the most relevant or strongest to you. Okay, the Spirit. Come bathe in these sacred waters. Submerge in the sanctified spring of liquid light to release any debris from the past. Arise, feeling refreshed. Gracefully floating along the luminescent water, you become fully aware of your own multifaceted beauty. Spirit resides in everything, including you. Awaken your senses to harmonize with living light energy. Open your eyes to your sacredness and inner light, regardless of any perceived imperfections. Reclaim your inherited gifts, and your natural beauty will be revealed for all to appreciate. This awareness of your own inner beauty and light creates a new sense of confidence that makes you magnetic to your desires. We have been talking about being confident. That's good. Strengthen your connection with spirit. Listen to the wisdom of your higher self. Become a clear conduit for spirit by stepping into the observer. When your perspective is untainted by personal filters or unconscious agendas, you open a direct line to the divine. When you fully realize your boundless capacity to link to other realms, high vibrational broadcasts will flow freely from the source. Clear, cognizant transmissions from spirit guide you confidently in the right direction. Okay, so that's a lot of jargon. Let me go ahead and break it down here. Becoming a clear conduit for spirit by stepping to the observer means try to look at things at a very objective level. Don't be angry. Don't be extremely sad. Don't be bitter. Don't be judgy. Just try to observe the facts. When your perspective is untainted by personal filters or unconscious agendas, you open a direct line to the divine. AKA, try not to judge others. Try not to look through the world with a filter. Because we're raised with a certain mentalities and aspects, we have a tendency to look down upon others because they're different, or we have been told to look at people differently than others. And sometimes we judge ourselves in the same way. So we need to be a little bit more objective without those preconceived notions. When you fully realize your boundless capacity to link to other realms, high vibrational broadcasts will flow freely from the source. When you realize that you can do what you want to do with no limits, everything is going to flow freely for you. You'll be able to get those messages, that intuitive insight, what you can do and how to do it. Clear, cognizant transmissions from spirit guide you confidently in the right direction. You will be guided to the right course of action. Okay, it is time to leave muddy puddles behind and seek fresh water. You are entering a prevailing phase of regeneration. Spirit is guiding you to release any resistance and float freely on a sea of fresh potential. Cradled in the nourishing womb of the ocean, you feel a sense of love, grace, and gratitude for the lessons and blessings of the past. Salty tears wash and clear away any pain to make space for blessed beginnings. Release any past hurts, numbing distractions, and sabotaging patterns to thrive once more. Surrender liberates your spirit and clarifies your higher purpose and pathway. Okay, so surrender is not giving up. Surrender is like that moment in The Lord of the Rings where Bilbo has to give up the ring to move on with his life. That's the kind of surrender they're talking about. It's not about giving up. It's not about losing your autonomy. It's about relinquishing the bitterness that you had or the past trauma that you had carried that required healing. The moment that you are able to let it go, once it's finally healed and come to pass and it's a closed chapter, you can move on. You will let go that extra weight. So that's the kind of surrender they're talking about. You are ready for a fresh start and a cleaner, healthier way of living. The sky is literally the limit. If you can adopt a more positive outlook, you'll soar into the clear light of love and become the change you wish to see. Nature revives your spirit and excites your soul. It's time to get inspired about the change of seasons, the whir of the ocean, a glorious sunset, the scent of rain, and the magic of starry nights. So you can take this to the next level by doing some sort of bathing, purifying ritual. You could swim in the ocean. You could do like a own bathtub cleansing. You could visit to a closer natural body of water, like a waterfall or a lake, and you could do anything to help you purify yourself and let go of anything that you're holding on to. So if you like that as a concept, go for it. It wouldn't hurt. And you feel a little bit lighter as you do it. Next, we have the Teacher. True leadership is heart-centered action and accomplishment, not status. Huge for Leo season, because Leo season is about leadership. So it's not about the fame, it's not about the rank or the status, it's about how you do it. I love these cards. Humility, clarity, and courage are essential elements to lead with real heart. Your hidden talents are rising to the surface to reveal your spiritual vocation. You are embarking on a quest to discover your innate assets and higher purpose in this lifetime. Calling to do meaningful work and be of service to humanity fuels your global mission. You are a vessel for the divine that unites others with their truth. Follow the path of your soul and dare to journey beyond the veil. Walking the bridge between the seen and unseen realms gives you boundless insight and experience to lead others. You may be called to teach others and share your knowledge of divination and secret rituals with like-hearted souls. Mainstream training, mentoring, or coaching is also a strong possibility for you. Investing in your own learning will support you on this journey. Your efforts will pay off in the form of gratifying new directions or career opportunities. As a natural leader, you do not see yourself as superior to anybody else. Unpretentiously, you are a truth seeker and keeper. See past the surface level to pursue a higher perspective and richer meaning to your experience. You are being called to challenge outmoded ideas and harness more pioneering concepts and ways. It is time to ask questions, shake things up, rattle souls, and make your mark on the world. If you're feeling tested lately, even if it appears completely random, know that you are moments away from graduating a significant life lesson. Earth is like a giant classroom. Welcome the lessons as they are here to serve you. Try not to react to others' behavior. That's hard, but it's worth it. These experiences are your karmic teachers, seeing if you have mastered peace. So, people who troll, people who write hot takes, inflammatory remarks, try to do harm with their words, they're there to try to distract us from doing something that is positive or helpful, that actually makes a real change and difference in someone else's lives. We could spend hours upon hours debating and correcting others, but it would be better to use that type of energy towards something that is positive, like coaching someone how to improve their skill set or how to navigate a certain situation. That is more positive and helpful rather than inactive and like stuck in the mud, because that is what they want you to do, to be distractive and inactive and not really trying to change the world for the better. So don't worry about how they react, why they're acting the way they do. They are in charge of their body and their behaviors. That's for them to deal with. You, on the other hand, have a purpose and a goal. That goal is to help lead and teach and guide and mentor. So don't get distracted. It's very hard to do nowadays. Lately, I have come to terms of just reporting and blocking. It's just better off to set your boundaries that way. It's okay to feel upset about the world not doing its best, but we can't be inactive. We have to be proactive in trying to do better, trying to make the world better, at least on a local level. That's going to be huge for everyone. So mastery does not happen overnight. If you feel you could have handled things better, know that making mistakes doesn't undo the progress you made. Look back to see how far you have come, but don't look back in anger. Look back to heal and acknowledge how much you have learned through the growing pains. You may be guided to enroll in a course that lights you up. Embrace your ever-evolving journey of the scholar, educator, and spirit medium. Step up and shine. So, mistakes shows that we are learning. And by learning, we are growing. So we can't always be the teacher. Sometimes we are the student. And after we spend some time learning, we'll be able to take some of those lessons and be able to offer advice for those who are probably going to go through a similar experience with what we had. And with that advice, it's going to help them grow, because we did some growing ourselves. So don't beat yourself up with any sort of mistakes you made. Acknowledge it, and then forgive yourself. Move on. Big words, I know. It's not going to happen overnight. But you are human. You are learning. And that's what this card is trying to say. So if you want to take the next step, it's suggested to retreat and go within to discover pathways of higher wisdom, reflect, read, study, and research to attain valuable knowledge. In a way, teach yourself, continuing education, nothing wrong with that. Next is going to be about the strategist. Desire for knowledge evolves the soul. To discover true wisdom, think for yourself. Inquisitiveness is exquisite curiosity at play. Socrates, the Greek philosopher who pondered the meaning of life, implores you to be more thoughtful, curious, and open-minded. Embrace your golden halo of wisdom. As a deep thinker, others seek your leadership and intellectual advice. You have a natural gift of making the incredibly complex feel simple, logical, and easy to understand. As a strategic visionary, your balanced approach integrates creative insight and profound inner knowing with common sense tactics to find solutions that benefit everyone. It is also time to see the big picture. Stepping up and advocating for a global cause that heals, not hurts the planet, attracts like-minded supporters. Collaboration is key. A joint undertaking brings together a wide range of skills that advance your cause. Get clear on your priorities on what is truly needed to support your collective mission. Open your mind to creative insights and innovative ideas. You're part of an evolutionary shift that unites, benefits, and lifts the cosmic vibration. Wonder is the foundation of wisdom, so trust in your own inner knowing to make up your own mind. Be curious, ask questions, explore a wide range of facts and concepts before you make a decision. Unyielding stubbornness prevents you from seeing the opportunities and solutions available to you. It's okay to change your mind and see things from a different perspective. Approaching situations as the observer, not the judge, expands your understanding and wisdom. Being open-minded creates an environment to learn, grow, and discern with a balanced vantage point. Also be compassionate. Everyone is doing the best they can with the cards they have been dealt. Kind, thoughtful, and respectful communication creates better outcomes for all. When faced with confrontation, stand in your power with empathy. The ability to suspend judgment and see things from other perspectives will serve you. So this is another leadership card, but more about strategy, collaborating with other people, being the student and the teacher at the same time. Being open-minded allows you to find other solutions you never thought of before. Collaboration is also key in trying to come together to solve a crisis or a situation. I don't know how many times in movies or books or TV shows where the leader of the group, whether it's the President of the United States or the General or whoever, will ask their counselors or their officers what their insights are with the situation at hand. They all deliberate and they all come to a conclusion, and the leader decides, okay, we're going to follow through this strategy first and see what happens. So that is why we need to be open-minded, because we are taking stock of a situation. If you want to take this a little bit further, dig deeper, study all the facts, find the meaning behind the important issues, also in a very objective, credited, certified manner. There's a lot of misinformation out there, even though it's well intended, can really muddy the waters. So make sure that it is from primary sources to the best of your abilities. Alright, so some time has passed. I'm wearing a little bit differently today, but I still am going to continue with the Leo season readings. I'm going to do it by astrological signs, elements, and we're going to start with fire signs. Fire signs are going to be Leos, Aries, and Sagittarius. Okay. Let me make sure I lay it down right. We have how you perceive yourself. What is the challenge that blocks your path? What skills you have to aid you in overcoming this. So we got some skills. And gifts and blessings that also help. What knowledge does your higher self have about this? And what is your greatest potential that you haven't acknowledged? So I could say with the sun in reverse, in my perspective, we're not really doing well. Usually when it is upside up, we have a very sunny disposition, we're very lighthearted, we have some joy in our lives, a little bit of sparkle in our eyes. When it's reversed like this, there's usually some fear or sadness that we're dealing with, maybe lacking some confidence a little bit. So we're not really feeling that Leo season fire signs. We feel a little bit out of our elements here. What is blocking our path is the Five of Wands, and that is in reverse. So it means that we're kind of a little bit scattered with our focus. We don't have a really concrete singular goal we're trying to go after. We're doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that, or maybe this thing or that thing. So we're just a little bit putting every single finger in a pie kind of situation, and that's kind of draining our resources a little bit. And because we're just a little bit out of focus, we don't have that forward direction that we are normally used to as a fire sign. We're more go-getters, singular action kind of people, and having it spread thin in a way, kind of a little bit spread thin with all these projects and hobbies and goals and whatnot. We're kind of losing a little bit of momentum here, and we kind of need to lock in with a few that are really worthy with our attention. So let's see what you have for skills that will aid you in overcoming this. We have the Devil card here. There's two ways I could see this. One is to try to cut out any sort of obligations that are draining yourself. Anything that you don't have any passions for, or something that is not really conducive to your health and well-being. You could go ahead and cut those, free up your time and obligation. It's one way of cutting the chain, so to speak. Anything that is not helping you in a physical or mental health kind of way. Another way is to also try to have more levity in your life, having a little bit of fun and laughter. A little bit of pleasure goes a long way. That skill set of having some levity also kind of helps break up the seriousness of life a little bit. With that Devil card, usually it talks about breaking toxic relationships and toxic people, or like any sort of vices that we have. Try to remove them. But since we're talking about what skills you have to aid you in overcoming this, I believe it's more of the, you know what you need to cut out, so you just need to follow through. You know that what you're doing is, what parts that you are doing is draining yourself or draining your resources. So it's time to take action to make that happen. And maybe you are really good at making sure you do have breaks, you do have time to like regenerate yourself, have fun, have levity. So I don't want you to lose that fun part in your lives. But we also need to acknowledge that if there are some things you need to get rid of, go ahead and do so. You do have a really good eye in figuring out what is right and what is wrong. You just gotta make that happen. 8 of Wands here. This is the gifts and blessings that will help out. Usually it's about fast forward here with any sort of progress that we're making. It's just that go energy. If you're crunching for deadlines, that will help you choose that obligation first than the long-term projects that you have going on. So anything that has a deadline that you need to hit, focus on that first before you do anything else. That time crunch is going to be more of a blessing than a curse, because it will get your mind into gear of, oh, I need to do this now, and I have to come up with some creative solutions or creative ideas to make it happen. So that also helps. And also, this validation that things will progress forward, things will move along. You're not stuck in a rut. Even though it feels like you're stuck with this Five of Wands scatteredness that's happening, you're not stuck in a rut. You're just feeling a little bit down and drained. Things will progress forward no matter how much work that you do. It will still happen, or whatever it is that you're trying to put together and put forward. So knowledge of from your higher self, we have the Eight of Cups here. This is correlating with the Devil card, where we have to cut some things that are not suitable for ourselves in order to make room for new beginnings, new opportunities that will better serve us. And I know it's very disappointing because we put a lot of investment and time in those type of things, but it's best to cut down the workload. If you have to delegate, but pick and choose the ones that are very most important to you. At the very least, put on the shelf the ones that are not going to be worthy of your time right now, and that way you have room for what you need to work on. A analogy, if you will, whenever I do some editing with my drafts, with my books, I sometimes feel a little bit attached to the scene or chapter that I'm removing from the book, and I will create a whole new save file and put that scene I'm cutting out and put it in there, save it, and then lock it away. I move on without that scene for the rest of the drafts and progressions, but if I ever feel like I need to use some sort of thing from that edited or cut out scene, I could always go back to that document later, and I could always take out a few things that I like from it. You could try that way with whatever it is that you're working on or doing. If it is a project that doesn't have a deadline that you are working on in a long-term kind of vision, you can put that on the shelf. Have it for later while you work on things that are a little bit more pressing. But it's totally understandable how you may feel about leaving something that you put so much time and effort into it, but you do have a critical eye in knowing what is not working, what isn't working, and be able to cut those things. You don't have to tie yourself to that thing forever. Who wants that anyway? The Star. So we have the Star in reverse, and I'm going to use my big book. So there's two things that I'm going to touch on from the Star in reverse. One, it is validating how busy you are with the Eight of Wands. There are deadlines, there are things that are due. It is possible you are traveling to meet those deadlines. That is a real consideration in this part. Fire signs. It also indicates that despite being so overworked, busy with all these deadlines, maybe traveling all around, you're probably overdue for a vacation of some sort. And you may not even acknowledge you need some sort of vacation to recharge and power yourself. I believe it's one of the either Business Insider articles or Ford articles where it's beneficial for creative projects where you have 6 hours in a day to work on a particular creative project, and to allow yourself to have breaks in between those 6 hours. Which I know that sounds unusual or silly considering how much you have been running yourself to the ground with all these projects and all these goals and all these pies you have fingers in. Because it's saying, look, you gotta rest or you're gonna collapse, I suggest that when you are figuring out what is important and what is not important, come to the mindset that you're making space for a vacation or for a weekend where you're not available. Tie up some loose ends or create a holding spot so that way you can get away and recharge. That way you can approach with a clean mental slate with all your problems that you're dealing with. And I know that sounds very counterintuitive for someone who's always on the go and always busy, but it's probably for the best for your mental, creative, problem-solving mindset to actually have breaks. Recharging just for 24 hours of no internet, social media downtime, where you're not working on anything that is work related or any of that project that you're wanting to do. That type of step back alone once a week is going to give you that sort of recharge energy that you need to go ahead and tackle problems that are on your plate. So do schedule in breaks. It is vital and important to help you recharge and have the mental capacity to pick and choose what is going to be worthy of your time and need. That way you're not always meeting yourself at the door, you're not having brain fog all the time, you're not stumbling over yourself, and you're always going to be presentable. And probably have a better attitude dealing with your day-to-day. Now, the other side of the star, when it's in reverse, is the need to have a bit of a jolt or some sort of unexpected change in one's life to help realize what is important or valuable in your life. That type of sudden change and upheaval is going to help you realign your values, realign what is important in your life, and be able to adjust everything to compensate that new perspective and value set. For instance, someone who has someone in their family or close to them who ended up in a hospital due to some sort of accident. They have to be there, they have to provide for them, make sure everything runs smoothly, and they have to take some time off of work to make sure, their loved ones are taken care of. A business that wants you there 24/7, 7 days a week, not have any sort of breaks, and is going to demand that you be there for them instead for this person, this family member who has this medical emergency, is probably not going to be conducive to anything that you have that you would value down the road. Since they don't value you as a person and the people who you value in your life, it's not going to be a good mix, and it's probably better off if you find a workplace that would treat you better. And may also pay you better too in the long run. That will allow you to have benefits and breaks and a vacation, and also acknowledge these medical emergencies in your life. So that is one aspect of the star that can manifest that may not be acknowledged. So hopefully there won't be any sort of emergencies that would force you to quote-unquote see the light. Hopefully you'll be able to create that acknowledgement of what is working for you, what is not, what is draining your resources like the devil here, and be able to cut your losses. I really do hope that will be the case. Oh, and let me go ahead and give y'all a personal oracle reading to give you a little bit of a head start in Leo season. Since I did the group message of the day, let's go ahead and have a special card for all of you fire signs. Okay, so this will be the strategist for you, fire signs. Keep an open mind as you look for solutions. Try not to judge it by its cover. Give it some consideration as you look for other solutions to help with your predicament. You may be asking some people which would be very suitable or helpful for you if you need any sort of second opinions in that manner. Also, it's indicating that you probably were in some sort of collaborative project. Be sure to also acknowledge that you don't have to take everything into your own hands. You can delegate and coordinate with others in this group. You don't have to carry everything on your shoulders. So try to keep an open mind, be a little bit curious as you're trying to find those solutions, and work with others. And if you have to lead them through any sort of issues that they have, go ahead and do so, acknowledging that they're going to approach things a little bit differently than you normally would do. So, best of luck to you, fire signs. I think you got this. You just gotta breathe, step back, and look at things in a very objective manner. All right, going down, we have Earth signs. Earth signs are going to be Virgo, Taurus, and Capricorn. Okay. How you perceive yourself, Earth signs. We have the Seven of Wands here. What challenges blocks your path? We have the King of Swords. What skills you have to help aid you overcoming this? We have the Three of Pentacles upside down. What gifts and blessings that will help? We have the Three of Wands. What knowledge does your higher self have about this? We have the Five of Cups. And what you haven't been acknowledging, the Empress. Okay, with the Seven of Wands here, it has the same type of vibes as the Five of Wands, where you are feeling a little bit scattered, a little bit spread thin. You're not doing something that you're passionate about because you're doing all these things all around you. And it's a little bit defeating because you are dealing with all these projects all around you, Earth signs. You're not really doing something that you truly love, or at least you are trying to do something you love, but it's being overshadowed with all the responsibilities and tasks that you have to do. It's also possible that there's a bunch of things that you wanted to do that you're passionate about, but you don't know how to do it in a very concrete kind of way. It's possible that you had dealt with a setback that's kind of put you in sort of a mental chaotic limbo. Like, okay, now what? I don't have this pathway to do what I want now. Where do I go? And you're not really seeing the opportunities or alternatives to reach your passionate goal that you're wanting to do. So that's what's going on with you, Earth signs, for this Leo season. I'm trying to pivot around from this unexpected setback, trying to go after something you are passionate about. With the Three of Pentacles, it's acknowledging you do have the skill set where you can do things alone. You don't necessarily need a team to do what you need to do. You do have the ability to be collaborative, of course. That is something that you do have as a skill set, no matter whether this is upright or reverse. But you probably are better off alone, since you're able to concentrate and focus on what's in front of you, whether it is a hobby or project or whatever it is that deserves your attention. Most earth signs tend to be fairly organized or detail orientated, usually, not always the case. So I'm not at all surprised about the level of expertise you will have in your own personal field, and also the ability to work without some sort of supervision or without the requirement of teamwork. We do have here the Three of Wands, indicating that there is some progress that can be made that will be coming up for you. Not only there's going to be progress with your goals, it is validating that it will be completed so long you push forward. There's an indication that there could be travel involved. Just a possibility, it's not guaranteed. Something to consider, that you may have to travel to continue going after what you're passionate about, despite the setbacks that you are experiencing, earth signs. Just letting you know that things will be completed and whatever you had planned will continue. You will be able to progress and move forward with your plans. So don't give up, whatever it is. Even Seven of Wands, whether they're upside up or upside down, it's never to give up with whatever it is you're working on, no matter whether you have setbacks or any sort of obstacle in the way. It just requires some planning, maybe a little bit of help with others, try to get to a better place or new, fresh opportunities to progress forward. Five of Cups here in reverse. When it's upside up, it's acknowledging that you're grieving. In reverse, it shows that you're finalizing your grieving process and you're now ready for this fresh start in your chapter, which is awesome. It means that you finally were able to get out of your system the emotional reaction and response to this really terrible setback that you're dealing with, and you have the stamina and the strength to move forward now, to take on these new opportunities that are going to be presented in front of you. It's also talking about reintegrating back into society, so to speak. So whether this is a business setback or this is a personal creative field kind of setback or educational setback, you are going back into the thick of it again, reintegrating yourself into the mix, now having this new knowledge that you had experienced. You'll be able to know what you can and cannot do. Now that you know that way doesn't work, you're going to pivot and do the other way. And that will be for the best. We have the Empress card here to let you know what you have acknowledged. This is about the projects that or ideas that are not born yet. So while you're moving forward with your plans of what you want to do acknowledge and continue to nourish what you're trying to work on, whether it is a creative project or like your career or your education or anything that is really important to you that requires a lot of work. Continue to nourish and put your time and attention to this craft or to this business project while you're still pivoting and making plans to move forward. Don't neglect it. Don't let it fester. Don't let the dust get on it. Do visit it often enough to go ahead and make sure that you still have the skill set, your mind is still clicking and firing off, and you're able to essentially continue to hone your craft if it is a craft that you're working on. Okay, so another thing that could be considered, you may not have acknowledged, is to work at home. This card does pop up for those who are used to working through their home environment, whether it is a side hustle or working for a corporation as a work at home or like a part-time kind of situation. So if you are trying to open up your store, if you are trying to consider other job opportunities, or maybe some sort of education or continuing education, you may want to consider trying to set it up in your own home. That may be a little bit easier for you resource-wise, especially if you already have the setup that you have to do any sort of streaming or Zooming or any sort of office work that you have in your house. That could be something you may not have acknowledged, that there's this also as a option for you, if you need that as an option. So you don't necessarily have to travel, but you can set up a home office, so to speak. Okay, so let me go ahead and see what y'all need to hear from the Oracle card, Earth Signs. Okay, so they also suggest the Strategist card. So if you want to remind yourself, you could go to the beginning of this video. Keep an open mind, looking for solutions. Talking to people may help you find the solution that you're looking for. Try not to be too judgy about what those options are as you're trying to investigate and problem solve. And also, do ask questions as you search around. Be willing to communicate your ideas with others. If there are other people who are needing your help, also try to lead with a more compassionate, open mind. Not everyone has the same type of cards that you have or the type of resources that you are able to work with. They will probably approach things a little bit differently than you would. Try to acknowledge and work with them for where they're coming from. But definitely for sure, try your best to keep an open mind. Next we have air. So air is going to be Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Okay. How you see yourself, we have the Nine of Cups here. What is challenging you or blocking your path, we got the Page of Cups. What skills you have that will aid you in overcoming this, we got the Five of Pentacles. And what gifts and blessings that will help, we got the Three of Swords. What is your higher self advising here, the Nine of Wands. And what you haven't acknowledged, which is the Judgment in reverse. So overall, you have satisfaction. You are acknowledging that you had achieved some milestones, air signs. You feel pretty good with what you have accomplished. So pat on the back, let's go. You're able to acknowledge you have some successes. So that's great. So the little bit of problem here is the Page of Cups in reverse. So with the Page of Cups in reverse, we could be expecting like an offer or a call or an email from either a business prospect or something that is very romantic, or maybe it's for our creative endeavors. We're just sitting and waiting, and we're just getting a little bit frustrated that things are not coming along as they should. There could be delays that you may not see behind the scenes, any sort of roadblocks that may be happening for whatever it is that is coming your way. And because of that, you're just stewing, essentially. That's going on with you, air signs. The skill set that you have here is charity, essentially, with the Five of Pentacles. There are people and resources that are available to you that you can use to help you ease the delay or the gap, making sure that you're able to get from point A to point B. You're not entirely dependent on this thing, though it would help, whatever this offer that's coming down the pipeline. You do have other options that you can use, whether it is getting help from friends or relatives, or maybe it is other resources like a food bank, if you're a little bit tight on funds. It's just acknowledging that you do have access to things around you, people who are willing to help you. It's just a matter of letting them know that you need that type of assistance just to get you by until this thing happened. With this Five of Pentacles here, it also indicates you may know that already, and you already left to find those opportunities, probably as of right now, or something that you're going to do with this Leo season that's going to occur. You don't want to sit around anymore. You want to go out and find it, and either you already had done it by the time this reading comes out, or that you're going to pretty soon, because you know there are things that are going to help you out. You're not going to stick around, and you're just going to go forward, which is a good thing. It's acknowledging that it's a skill or an idea that you have, and they're just acknowledging that that is suitable for you. Three of Swords is a weird kind of blessing. It's acknowledging that it's acknowledging heartbreak. It's acknowledging that things don't work out the way you want it to, that it's not a good fit for you, whoever it is. This could be more the romantic side of things with this card here. So with the romance part of this reading, if you're waiting for that call or that email from someone and it's not coming through, or things are just not happening, it may be best that you go out and look for some new love, while also acknowledging the hurt that you had experienced, so that way you go through that healing process instead of letting it fester and grow. By pushing things out of the way or under the rug, by not acknowledging our emotions, we tend to invalidate ourselves as a autonomous being. And by not recognizing ourselves having autonomy with ourselves, with our minds and body, we won't be able to have mastery over ourselves and our destiny. So if just acknowledge your grief, acknowledge that heartbreak, it's probably for the best that it probably isn't going to work out, and do go forth and look for new opportunities. This could also be other creative endeavors or other businesses. Don't put all of your eggs in one basket. Do look for other opportunities, and when they do present themselves, do move forward and do obtain them, while also acknowledge the hurt and the grief. So that way you're not going to be bitter, be vindictive, try to hurt others just because you are carrying that hurt. Just let it go and make yourself available for anything new that's going to come down the pipeline for you. Nine of Wands, what your higher self is letting you know for this kind of situation is just letting you know that you're very close to getting things done. Whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, you're almost there. So just a little bit of heads up, you're almost there, you're almost done. Just that one final push, just that one final call, that one final interview. Just keep at it, keep going. So that's all this card is saying. Don't give up, don't despair, keep at it. We have the Judgment card here in reverse. This is something that you're not acknowledging. Okay, so this is in correlation with the Three Swords. Why it's asking you to acknowledge your heartbreak and your grief before you're able to move on and find those new opportunities. It could be that you're doing some things in haste, you're not thinking clearly. If there is something that you want to abandon because you're just not getting what you want, this call, this business opportunity, this email, whatever it is, don't throw everything out the window just because you're not getting that call or that reception. You're close to getting done whatever it is. Don't act in haste. Don't throw everything out. What you need to do is to acknowledge what is important to you. Because would you forgive yourself if you throw everything out of the window just because one call or one person just didn't respond for whatever reason that is? Does that mean you just give up completely? How would you feel? How would you live with yourself? What would you give to the world if you actually completed and followed through? If it was a book, if it was a painting, if it was a business, if it was something that you have been toiling on and trying to complete it and trying to put it out there, the world will be duller and grayer without it being there. It's probably for the best that instead of throwing everything out the window just because one person said no or is mute or hasn't said anything yet, find someone else. Find someone else. Take that thing with you and carry on. Don't toss it out. Don't leave it behind. But also don't try to rush into a relationship or a business partnership. Don't try to just pick anyone just because they're there. Okay? Don't rush into this without acknowledging what is important to you, what is your value set. Go through the process of that grief. Do collect yourself. Do look around to see what is available to you that is going to be beneficial to you and whatever you're working on, and just go with them. Try to be a little bit more considerate with your actions. Just slow down, breathe. It's not the end of everything. Just because this one person for some reason says no. It's okay. So take the time to slow down. Take the time to acknowledge that you're getting close to completing the thing. You have past successes. You have done incredible things. You have done awesome milestones. You are almost done. is just getting through that next hurdle. Don't rush into anything else. Have a little bit of a plan. Lean on to your friends for resources or opportunities if you need to. Just make sure you look before you leap. Okay? It's not the end of everything. It's going to be okay. Let's see what they suggest here, air signs, for your oracle card to give you a little bit of help along the way. Okay, we have a completely new card for you. This is Odyssey. The pilgrimage is life's trek, an intellectual and spiritual wandering of the soul. Trust in the journey of your own unfolding. This oracle card encourages you to live in the moment, seek beauty in the world around you, and enjoy the soulful journey. To love is far more rewarding than to hate. The presence of love will always cast out hate. As an explorer, your ever-evolving quest leads you closer to the fulfillment of your spirit's destiny. You are a free spirit at heart. Your inquisitiveness and playful curiosity serve you well on this adventure called life. Relish the journey, not just the last stop. Slow down, take in the view, and see magic in everything. Appreciate the special connections, life experiences, and natural wonders of the world around you. Know that you're on the right track when you have no interest in going back or skipping forward. Awakened living is not over there, but over here. Not tomorrow, but today. Breathe into the present moment and fully sense the bliss of just being in the sacred now. Your spirit is alive. You are about to embark upon a wild ride where you look inward and take inspired action toward your desire. From the universal lens, manifestation is self-growth. If you believe it, you will feel it, and if you sense it, you can create it. Transitions can be joyful and from time to time awfully painful. No grit, no pearl. Even the most challenging experiences activate profound alchemy within. Challenges reveal valuable lessons and blessings. The way to self-discovery is from trepidation to self-belief, fear to peace, separation to union. The Oracle is ascending once again, summoning you to connect to your calling and promise to be of service to spirit in your own exceptional way. Share your hidden talents with the world. Shine your beaming light for others to follow. Your soul's evolution benefits everyone. Ascension is a collective process. We rise as one and nobody gets left behind. Rejoice in the journey. Give thanks for your spirited adventures. Express joy every day and follow the gracious way of the great goddess. Our combined consciousness propels humanity forward. So air signs, if you want to take this just a step further, find inspiration in mystical beliefs and practices to continue on your spiritual journey and live in your own otherworldly way. It's another way of saying slow down, breathe, be present, continue to ascend to the top. So wish you all the best, air signs, and good luck. Alright, last but not least, it is water signs. Water signs are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Alright, how we perceive ourselves. Page of Swords in reverse. We have the Three of Pentacles blocking our path. What skills that we have to help overcome this? We have the Two of Swords. And we have the Queen of Swords for gifts and blessings. That will also help. We have the moon from our higher self, and what we haven't acknowledged, that is our greatest potential. Okay. So in general, water signs, we are a little bit mentally excited. We probably are brimming with a whole bunch of fresh new ideas. We may be a little bit unfocused because of all these ideas. It's like having all these tabs open, but we're having a hard time putting it in physical plans or in a physical state. It's all just swimming in our heads a little bit. Just a lot of difficulty in trying to ground our dreams into reality, or trying to understand the consequences or the responsibilities of those ideas and actions. For instance, imagine someone selling everything to run a hotel where they never had done hospitality before. They don't know how to time manage anything. They don't understand logistics. So they get quickly overwhelmed with all the duties and responsibilities of running a hotel. And instead of confronting the problem head on and learning, they decide to get a new idea and jump ship to follow that idea. So you may have a difficult time acknowledging the realistic side of your ideas, the logistics of it, and you may have a hard time like putting it in the ground. Fascinating enough, we have the Three of Pentacles here that's challenging or blocking your path. It could be that you're working in concert with a group. You have to play along in their sandbox or play by their rules, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with group collaboration. You have to play along to get along. But because you're a little bit unfocused and not able to have a realistic way of implementing what you have as an idea, it may be challenging for you to convince your group to follow through with that plan, or to even help them make that plan into reality, not understanding how detrimental it can be without a little bit of forethought going into this. But we do have some good news. We do have the Two of Swords in reverse here and the Queen of Swords. Okay, so this card with the Two of Swords here is validating that you're dealing with that mental chaos of not choosing which way to go or how to ground them into reality. So the advice here will be to do a process of elimination, no different than a multiple word choice problem. Eliminate something that's just not going to work until you find something that is doable, and then follow through. You don't always have to choose the most difficult path to get what you need to do or get things done. It doesn't always have to be difficulty spaghetti every single time. It could be suspiciously easy. It's just got to make sure you have a choice, you pick one, you follow through, and even though it hurts, you'll be able to get things done. Queen of Swords will also be a big help. I think this is a person more than anything else. Someone with a very strong feminine energy that is very sociable, probably a bit of a chatterbox, someone who is very intellectual and analytical, who's able to help process this situation and help you get to the right decision that you need to make. So if you are stumped with where to go or how to make things happen, look for someone who is feminine, sociable, and or actually definitely someone who is a analytical intellectual, someone who has the brains and the knowledge to help get you where you need to go, someone who's able to cut through the crap, get right to the truth, someone who has a very strong investigative mind. But they're also not going to lie to you, they're not going to deceive you, they're not going to use their words to hurt you. They're just going to acknowledge truth. You're just going to have to handle it. We have the moon here. What your higher self says about this situation, it's about cutting through the illusions and fantasies and try to make things in reality. So even though it's cool to have these pie in the sky ideas to try to bring forward, we still have to translate it in this physical mundane realm. And sometimes some people may do things that you may not want them to do, but not everyone is thinking like you do. And we have to acknowledge some people will act and react not in the way you expect them to, and thus have to have a plan to predict those behaviors. That's probably the best way of saying it. You may want to consider looking at your dreams, do a little bit of dream journaling to connect with your subconscious, so that way you can find more creative solutions to help you out. It's possible that your subconscious will have some solutions or more pathways to make things work. There could be some visions that could be alerting what is not going to work, what is going to work, and try to make some adjustments down that road. So that will be one benefit here, is doing a little bit of a dream journal. Meditation will also be great. If you're a little bit stressed out with all these ideas floating in your head, a little bit of meditation will go a long way. But ultimately, you have to figure out what is true and correct and what is false, and just better left, in a fantasy world. Ace of Wands here. What is it that you're not acknowledging? Let me go ahead and dive into this. Ace of Wands here is just letting you know this is time to make those plans into reality. You may have to travel to make this happen, whether traveling back home or traveling for work or for what it is that you're trying to make it happen. Traveling may be indicated here. That usually happens with Wands. But it's time to make it real. This is the first real step where we're no longer just dreaming, we're actually doing. So it's time to go ahead and do the do, so to speak. So I think it's just giving that little bit of kick in the rear to just choose one and do it, but hopefully it is the one where it's more logistically compatible with what you're trying to implement into reality. Do continue to work with these people. Do go ahead and touch bases with someone like this, someone with a very clear, analytical, forward-thinking kind of person, someone who's able to cut out what is going to work, what's not going to work. Have a brainstorming session with this person, but ultimately you can't just continue to dream this anymore. You're going to have to make it reality. You can find more creative solutions or try to finalize your decisions through a little bit of dream journaling that does help in this kind of situation. So as you continue to percolate what you need to do find ways to gain traction and start making that big first step. That first step needs to happen. You just can't keep dreaming anymore. You gotta make it happen. Alright, let's see what the Oracle card has to say to help you out. Okay. So a card for all of you water signs is Theater. Seduce your soul and unlock your creative voice till it purrs with heavenly delight. Be the leading light of love in your own stage production. The Greek god Apollo personifies music, poetry, art, archery, healing, sun, and light. He guides you to explore your own unique artistic gifts. Authentic, creative, and intuitive expression is your soul singing. Life's a stage, so play your part with real spirit. The portal's opening in your realm. Throw all your doubts out the window as you are well and truly on your way to prestigious stardom. Expect a big break soon. It's time to shine. Creative flow and determination had spurred your desire to grow and prosper. Imagination inspires your soul to sing, your heart to open, and your mind to expand. Creativity comes in a wide range of exceptional forms. It's not always the obvious artistic pursuits that come to mind. Seek out opportunities that excite but also scare you a little. When you challenge yourself, step into the leading role and take center stage. Your confidence will soar and you will overcome any stage fright. Be daring and uplevel the purpose and passion in your sphere. It is time to go for it. Focus on your unique role and contribution, and do not be distracted by competitiveness. Stop comparing yourself to others. Shift your focus and realize that your unique input is valuable. Never assign anyone that much power over your sovereignty. Collaborating with the universe ensures unending triumph. In other words, what you put in is what you get back, and then some. Your soul's potential and infinite connection to source energy is vast, not small. When you wholeheartedly engage with life, you'll amaze yourself with the applause. Open up to receive all the blessings, goodness, love, prosperity, and light into your life. When your spirit sense you need them, when your spirit guides sense you need them, they'll come from far and wide to support you. They are your most loyal and loving fans. Open yourself up to their wisdom, to energetically communicate with your spiritual guidance squad. Simply send them a message in your thoughts. If you're an actor, you could have someone in your spirit team who was once a performer and now wants to mentor and inspire you as an artist. Their shining example motivates you ever more. Stay on the lookout for signs from your spiritual council. Know the universe really does have your back. If you want to take this a next step further, water signs, they said life requires your participation, so take part in an activity that grows your knowledge and confidence. Join a choir, course, theater group, or whatever you feel stretches you. Okay, so that is that, water signs. Good luck, trust yourself, ground those dreams into reality. Make magic. Okay, so that's it for Leo season. I hope that it is helpful for all of you who need it for this upcoming July 20th and through most of August. I will do something very special around the beginning of August, so be sure to keep your eyes out for something like that. And I hope you all have a wonderful Leo season. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back next time. Bye.